Alright, welcome back to R&R Garage. Dad and I are out here. It's cold. Had to shut the heater off so we could hear what's going on. Got some new mics we're trying out. And if they don't work, you won't be seeing this video, so you won't know anything about it anyways. So, this is the Turbo-Hydromatic 350 Chevy transmission we picked up at the auction. The one thing that we think might have survived the accident, we're about to find out. Dad says it's an early one. I'll let him explain everything as he's going along, tearing it down, and we'll see what kind of shape it's in. So let's go ahead and get started. You can explain what you're doing as you're doing it.
This transmission has a governor, and you access it through the side of the transmission. And it's held onto a clip in the cover.
Okay.
Ooh.
What's the governor do?
That's the thing that tells the transmission when to shift. The cover is just pressed into the case and held in by a spring clip that I just took off.
That and about 40 years of
corrosion.
That's where we want all our parts to land.
Yeah. The governor sits in there and spins off the output shaft.
Right, what do you look for on the governor to?
The governor rides in a bore in the case, and we make sure that the governor is in good condition along with the bore in the case. It's steel riding on aluminum. And these things move around.
Okay. Move the valve inside.
Transmission has a speedometer gear on the output shaft and has a cable that runs up to the dash. Little gear, bore in the case. Uh-oh.
Set your tools on the other side so you're not reaching in front of me every time you need something. Set these over there.
9/16's missing.
And you need one?
Yeah.
Okay, well, let me get that for you. We got Craftsman here. That's the 5/8. New Craftsman 9/16. Chrome on an impact. We break all the rules here. Woo! The wrong way, weren't you? Yeah? No? That's why I got you this one. The big bug. You need an adapter for it though. Inch. Okay, sitting you down.
Adapter. I'm concerned.
Well, like I said, it's been sitting out there for God knows how long. You can see all the dirt packed up in there, and that probably knocked a bunch of it off. And a bunch more got knocked off when it bounced around on the trailer. Yeah.
Wow.
Needed more oomph. Problem with this Milwaukee half-inch drive impact is that reverse switch is right where you like to set your hand and get a grip on the thing, so you're constantly turning it on when you want it to go off. Got it stuck.
Got it stuck.
That's never happened before.
Extension housing. Oh my gosh. Ooh.
Yeah, it'll clean up.
Isn't this special?
Normally, you don't see those on there.
This is a seal for the output shaft yoke. Many of them don't have that. Some do. And if your yoke needs this and you forget it, you will have a funny transmission leak at the yoke.
Little bit of,
There's a seal in there.
yeah, underneath all the rust and dirt. Just a little bit on there. And in there,
oh boy.
there's your big wrench that you used. It's been a while since Dad's torn one apart. He's been retired for quite a while. Guess that was your big wrench that you used.
It's amazing. Plastic can adhere to a steel shaft. Not moving it very much. I don't know if that wrench will work.
It does have a little clip on here that helps retain it, but that's been pushed down out of the way. So. Hey, it moved.
Good grief! That's a retaining clip. Yuck. Yuck. transmission has a modulator on the side of it. That's what tells the transmission to shift under load.
It's connected, vacuum operated, connected up to the, is that one connected to the carburetor or the intake? Or?
Can be either one. Usually it's the intake manifold. And another way to control the transmission is a cable from the carburetor linkage to the transmission for primarily passing gear.
Yeah. These old 3-speed automatics, I can pull them apart and put them together. I'm not quite as well versed, well, nowhere near as well versed as Dad is on the operations of each little part. Probably some pliers.
Oh, isn't that special?
Gonna have it disconnected from
yeah, they cut the cable off and
pinched everything.
So the cable is trapped right there, and with it that way you can't unhook the little linkage that goes down to the valve body, so we'll have to do it different. What else we got laying around here? We don't need this. It has a bracket on it for the shift linkage. This particular model would have a shifter in the console. And that's the bracket for it going to the linkage. And also, where did that one go? We have remnants of the transmission mount.
Five-eighths.
That's not what a mount would look like. That's just kind of came apart. Let's see if we can get into this transmission now. This is the bolt holding the transmission pump to the case. Really?
Get the big boy out.
These things are only supposed to be torqued to somewhere around 18 to 20 foot-pounds of torque.
They may have been, and then
at one time
all the corrosion set in and increased that torque.
1, 2, 3, 4. Isn't that special?
This isn't even the biggest of the big boys. It's just the one we figured we needed.
On these pumps and this kind of transmission, the factory threads the pump body so that you can use a puller to remove the pump. Do you absolutely have to have that? Well, makes it easier.
It's moving.
Oh my.
It's moving, but it should have already been out by now. Not the best lighting up under the bowl housing there, but it's working its way out. It's slowly, you know, 1/10 of a millimeter by 1/10 of a millimeter.
My shoulder's giving out.
Okay. That'll take the camera, and I just recently injured my arm putting this up on the bench, so I'll try it. That thing doesn't want to move. I think it's moving. Yeah.
Success.
I will say from experience, when using one of these, if you got fat hands like me, make sure you don't overlap here when it comes down. It does hurt. Just a little tool tech tip. Where's your sun gear shell tool? I know I saw it somewhere, but I don't know where it got put.
The pump and the pump body of the 350, the cover of the pump has a piston for a clutch that's in the front of the transmission. We'll look at that in a minute. Uh-oh. What you got? Great big groove in the pump cover.
Ooh, that's no good.
So this gear has been chewing into the pump cover. And the inside where the torque converter drives this pump gear is badly worn. The outer gear has been wearing into the pump body.
You feel it?
Oh boy.
Oh yeah. Okay. Well, there's that whole system there is scrap iron.
Wonderful. And here's that clutch that's in the front of this transmission.
You need to grab a light, pull hold on a second here. So, where? Let's see if this one works. Yeah, that helps a little bit. I'm gonna unplug that other light over there and bring that out. That might. Can find a spot to set it where it's not going to blind everybody, and we'll be able to get a little. Dang it! Get a little better view of what's going on. It's a bit better. How does it look?
Needing replacement. Okay, gotta turn that around. Oh my goodness.
A little bit of cut on there. Spend a little more time looking at the viewfinder here so I can see what I'm actually recording here. We need to hire a cameraman and probably a couple of them, sound guy. That's what happens when it's sat buried in the Texas dirt for decades. I'm guessing them screws or bolts aren't gonna want to come out as easily as they should. Heck, this pan actually has a drain plug on it.
Holy cow.
It's a keeper.
Well,
a little bit of Bondo, it'll be alright. Coming out a lot easier than I thought they might.
we're not done yet.
That's how you wear out sockets.
Whoops.
They come out a whole lot easier when you get all the bolts out. Ooh, that's kind of nasty looking.
Oh my goodness.
Take a rag, wipe it out. You'll be good to go.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah, let's get some of this off the bench here. Well, I can't do it unless you want to hold the camera. Clean up some of the dirt here. dump this in the freshly emptied and rebagged refuse receptacle. Okay, it's taking the screen off. A couple of screws. Hold it in. Is that a screen or a filter? It's a screen.
This is a screen. Yeah.
It's that's good to go.
Well, here's that throttle linkage that I couldn't pull off before. It's held in here, and
Gonna have to get that off of there, and
this link is not wanting to come off either. But this should come out. There we go.
might as well throw it in with the other trash.
This is the valve body.
So named because it is the body which houses the valves.
The detent spring.
I'm just here for the color commentary, so. And I'm sure if we had more viewers, somebody would write in the comments about how you're doing it all wrong. And you've got, what, 50 years? 55 years experience doing this? 60 years?
I don't know. Can't remember.
Ah, there's still one right there in the center.
There it is.
Like I said, it's been a while since he's done it, but hey, there's a little bit of fluid. And that is the entirety of the fluid in this transmission at this point in time.
The manual linkage. Oh, these things are heavy. Cast iron valve body. A support plate for the front of the case, and we got a bolt in the floor somewhere.
Just one?
Yeah, for now. This is a servo piston for the only band in this transmission. It's an overrun band. It's to give engine braking going downhill. And when we get it out, you'll see how big it is.
So this band, is it more like country or maybe metal? What would you say? Some people just don't appreciate fine humor. Working on a wood bench, it doesn't slide around as easily when you're working on a steel one.
It's a burnt band.
Racing stripe. That's what that is. Makes it go faster.
Yeah. And when that's not working, you don't have engine braking going downhill. This is the direct clutch drum. It's used for reverse and third gear. Also on it, we have a one-way clutch.
It spins, as we're looking at it, will spin counterclockwise, will not spin clockwise.
This is the hub for that great big clutch you saw earlier for second gear. This is the forward clutch housing. We have a set of clutches in here.
Is that it in the vise, or?
Not right now, I don't think.
And off the snap ring that holds all the clutch plates in.
There's the forward clutch. They're just burnt a little bit, not too bad. This is the transmission input shaft. Power comes into it through the converter. It's a hub for the direct clutch, and it's a housing for the forward clutch. And guess what?
Another no good piece.
Another no good piece.
I'd have to say this transmission was well used when it was pulled out. Maybe while it was pulled out.
Thrust washer that's worn out. Another thrust washer that's worn out. This is the clutch hub for the forward clutch, and it is also the ring gear for the front planetary. So far, one good part. Okay, shut it off. Had to move things around a little bit and get a pair of snap ring pliers.
Have a little, yeah, let me see it.
Very special. And if you don't have those, taking this transmission apart the rest of the way will be a very, very bad experience. It's bad enough if everything goes right. Itty bitty little snap ring in there.
Need to find the
Ends of it.
and then you go in with the hooks on the end of that snap ring plier and hook into them, open it up, and pull it right out. Piece of cake. Trying to keep the camera aligned, the flashlight, not get in the way. That's right, I am multi-talented. Sounded like you almost had it.
Almost.
There. Oh, so close. Of course, every time you slip off it with the pliers, it moves the opening. Alright, we're going to hit pause on this and we'll be right back. Okay, here's the snap ring. Found the better pair of pliers, and when it came out, 20 feet across the shop, we were able to find it, luckily.
Now, one of the problems with this kind of a snap ring is that the ends are cut on an angle. Most people don't know that, so when they put the snap ring back in, this has been worked on before, by the way, it was put in backwards, so it makes it a little tougher to get that snap ring out.
Yeah, you can kind of see, it's hard to get it to focus here. Like it doesn't really want to focus, but you can kind of see the angle. The left hand side there is, and then it angles up to the right, kind of.
So,
see.
If it's not put in correctly, it's hard to get back out. The input carrier, compared to the rest of the stuff we've seen so far, it's not too bad. Oh, goodness sake. Oh. Look at the crud. Okay, another snap ring.
Kind of hard to see what he's doing there, but
Snap ring in the case. Okay, now
it just pulls right out.
Yeah, just pulls right out.
Leave this off. Remember.
Stop. Not usually.
Absolutely no reason for those to be that tight.
Now, theoretically, this is supposed to slide right out.
It's coming.
It's coming? Yep, it's coming. There we go.
But looking at it, it wasn't turned in there like so many of them, where it will cut into these splines here, which and then you gotta turn it to get it out. It'll lock itself in there, and it gets to the point where essentially the case is no good.
This is where the rear carrier and center support and low reverse clutch is in the case. This is the support that is splined to the case, and it sometimes wears into the case and it makes it difficult to get it out. A one-way clutch. Looks good. A good part. Output shaft looks a little thick. Rust washer, the carrier, rear carrier, and that looks pretty good.
And clutches.
Of course, the clutches are not very good. You can see a difference in the coloration of the plate, kind of dark. And there's a piston for that clutch down inside the case. And we'll get that out later.
So we're not seeing any cracks in the case, which is one thing we were concerned with the way everything bounced around on the trailer when we got hit. Hey, look, they left an extra dust cover bolt in there.
Wow.
So, yeah, it's pretty well shot. But we needed to get it apart to take a look at everything, so it's, man. We're going to tally up the damage, figure out what parts we might have already. Because what we're trying to do is determine what transmission we're going to be putting into the 50 Chevy pickup. We've got the 700, and we got this, we've got a 400. Probably not going to put that in that though. We do have some T5 to 5 speeds, but not really thinking that's much of an option at this point, but we'll see. But so that's the teardown of the 350 and inspection. So we'll go ahead and call it from here. And so if you like any of this, you know, any of the intellectual stuff from Dad or any of the fantastic humor from myself, go ahead and click the like button, subscribe, ring the bell for notifications, and we'll see you next time.